This book is called David Loves His Mothergrand, written by Asia Foster. David was in his classroom. His teacher, Miss Smith, had a special announcement. Hello, boys and girls. Tomorrow is a special day. It is Grandma and Grandpa Day. You all have to write about your grandparents. We sometimes forget how special they are. Lucy Bells began to shout, I know! My grandmother Anne is the best. She makes the best blueberry pie. Not as my grandfather, said Jack. David felt very sad. He never met his grandparents. He began to wonder to himself, where are my grandparents? He felt embarrassed to tell his teacher he doesn't know his grandparents. Students, the assignment is due tomorrow, said Miss Smith. Please write about how much you love your grandparents. The bell rang, and it was time to go home. David's mother picked him up from school. He held his head down. Hi, David. How are you? His mother asked. Mama, why don't I have a grandparent? Can we talk about this later, David? His mother replied. Let's go home and have dinner. You know I love you, son. David smiled. But still he wasn't happy. He wanted an answer. Then they got home, and David's mother sat him down. David, let's talk before dinner. Everyone was born with grandparents, but some grandparents are absent for different reasons. The reason you don't have a grandparents around is because they went away before you were born. I can tell you one thing. They should love you because they know where to find you. That's all I can say for now. But I can't force people to love you, David. Love is something that comes naturally. From the day God placed you in my belly, I loved you. I know that story already, Mama. You jumped for joy when you found out you was having me. David and his mother laughed. Well, I have an assignment tomorrow. What must I do now if I don't have any grandparents? This is not fair, Mama. It's just not fair. David began to cry. Oh, David, please don't cry. David's mother gave him a hug. Do you know what love means, David? His mother asked. Yes, love is an action, Mama. I take care of you the best way I know, because I love you. I'm here to make sure you have the best life. Not having a grandparents doesn't stop your dreams from coming through. Just look at all my accomplishments, David. I don't let nothing stop me. I know that God got me and He loves me. He loves you too, David. I know, Mama. I'm so proud of you. Thanks, David. But please, remember, I've been there from the day you were born. I've wiped every tear. I've never missed a smile. I'm right here for you when you cry. I celebrate with you when it's your birthday, and I'm always praying for you every day. I love you, my son. That's part of being a grandmother. They love you. They show up to cheer you on. That's what I do, David. I'm here for you. So, David, you have two, a mother and a grandmother, combined just for you. Oh, wow, Mama. I have a grandmother inside of you. David and his mother laughed. Well, I'm doing this assignment. I'll write about my Mothergrand. You're my grandmother and my mother. That makes you my Mothergrand. They both laughed again. David picked up his pen and paper and he wrote about his Mothergrand. The next day in school, the presentation had begun. Miss Smith called on John. He was next. Come on, John. It's your turn. John read out loud. Hello, class. I'm here to talk about my Grandpa Dan. He's the best. I go to his house whenever my mother needs a break from me." The class laughed. "We fix cars and he buys me ice cream bars. I love my grandpa." The end. "Well, come on, class. Let's give John a big clap," said Miss Smith. "Good job, John," said the teacher. "Now it's your turn, Alexis." Alexis went up and spoke about her grandmother. "I love my grandmother so much. She's the best. I remember when I was sick. She came over and made me tea. She cooks for me and my mom. She even takes us to her farm in Jamaica. She has a big farm there. She even gave me my own goat. I named her Mars." Then the class began to laugh again. "Settle down, class," replied Miss Smith. "You have a goat? How cool is that?" said David. "I know," said Alexis. "I thank my grandma. I love her." Then everyone clapped. "Alexis, great job," said Miss Smith. "Thank you for telling us about your grandmother." "David, it's your turn now," said Miss Smith. David went up and he felt proud. He didn't feel left out anymore. "Hi, everyone. I don't have a grandmother, but I've got a great mother. She's an author, and she writes stories just for me. Her books are even in libraries. She wrote them for me to read. Then she shares them to others. The world can read her stories. My mother is also a great songwriter. Did you know she wrote a song for me? I'm so lucky. I have my own bedtime song."
Moonlight, moonlight.
Most importantly, my mother taught me about God. I know how to pray. You believe one day I left my bike outside. Someone stole it and I cried. My mother and I prayed. Next day, my bike appeared. It was in my yard. I can't explain it. But God told the thief to return it. Ha 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 ha! The class burst out laughing. It's okay to laugh, class. My mother always says, sometimes we need a good laugh. David laughed with his classmates. I have the best mom, and if she does anything more, I will be spoiled. She holds my hand. I love my Mothergrand. All the children began to clap for David. I wish I have a Mothergrand that writes songs like David's Mothergrand, said Billy from the back. Your mother is amazing, David. She took on 2 jobs and make it into 1, said his teacher, Miss Smith. What a great Mothergrand. David smiled. It's okay if you don't have a grandmother. A parent can do the same job, Miss Smith told the class. Then there was a voice calling David. David! David! He looked around and it was his mother. Mama, you came! He hugged his mother. Yes, David, I wouldn't miss this day. I'll always be here to cheer you on, my son. I love you. Me too, Mama, David replied with excitement. David's teacher invited all the parents and grandparents to school that day, and only David's mother showed up. David's mother took time off from work to support her son. She even bought books that she wrote and gave all the children in his class. They enjoyed reading and listening to some of David's mother's songs. We can all soar like eagles, even with a Mothergrand, said David's mother to the class. The end.